Sun, why are you shining on this world? I am wanting to catch you in my hands, to squeeze you until you cannot shine no more. That way, everything is always dark, and nobody's ever having to see all the terrible things that are happening here.
Beautiful.
Welcome to episode 12 of Media Nest, the podcast where we discuss films and albums. My name is Adam, and I am joined by Dylan
Hello there.
and Brad.
4 o'clock, bitch.
Yeah, Brad's feeling fresh today, ready to go. And this week, the film recommendation was Brad's. He wanted to talk about Beasts of No Nation, and the album recommendation was from Dylan, and he wanted to talk about Settle by Disclosure. And of
Gang
course,
gang.
that quote at the beginning of the episode was from our film this week, Beasts of No Nation. So, Brad, take it away. Let's talk
A
about
man like
Beasts of No
Agu coming
Nation.
in with the info.
Agu, yeah.
Hey, real talk though.
Aye,
For however old this kid is, you're looking at him, you're thinking, hey, you know this man,
he knows.
he
No, for
knows,
real,
he
Agu was
he knows
mad.
some shit.
I'm
He
actually,
knows some shit,
he
bro.
was actually good.
Yeah.
Beast of No Nation, 2015 American Ghanaian war drama. I don't know why it's an
Hmm.
American war drama when it's mostly shot in Nigeria, and the director was well, he was American, but he kind of looks Japanese, so it's a bit of culture is everywhere. But anyway,
Yeah,
directed by Cary Joji Fukinaga. I'm gonna
yeah.
assume I've said that correctly.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
aware of Cary Joji Fukinaga before. I've seen one of his other films, Sin Nombre, which is also
nah,
like a Central American film. So he just kind of seems to specialize in taking like places in the world and doing stories about them. So
Fair.
God, I love that. A man that's
yeah.
willing to travel and get that deets, you know.
Yeah, but I
Mm.
guess the American production side is probably just Netflix, where it's like half
Yeah.
Ghanaian, half Netflix's influence, I guess.
Yeah, the film is based upon a novel of the same name, written back in 2005. And that novel specifies, it basically works throughout Sierra Leone Civil War. It speaks on the Sierra
Yeah.
Leone Civil War. This one is not known directly where the location is, but it's believed it's Nigeria. Um,
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's kind of an amalgamation of a lot of the different African civil wars. So you've got like Liberia who had the child soldiers and
Yeah.
Sierra
mm,
Leone as well. So
Coney 2012.
yeah, I think it's kind of like not based on a single war. It's kind of like a made up war, but based on
Yeah.
those things. So
But throughout the
Mm.
film, we are following our child turned soldier Agu, who finds
Agu.
himself with his family to begin with. But as civil war breaks through and the rebels cut through, and then he ends up being torn apart from his family, as his mother's been sent to the city, and his
Yeah,
father and older brother die at the hands of the military. He finds
yeah,
himself slowly having to become a child soldier and committing to absolute war atrocities.
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
So
It gets very dark.
it gets very dark very
Mm,
quickly.
Yeah.
You do see like a 10-year-old murdering people. So, you know,
yeah,
Mm.
and it's not in like a we're gonna cut away because you don't want to see this. You see
no,
a
No.
lot.
you
Yeah,
see him shoot a woman in the head. So, I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
you know, like
It's very brutal and very like
well
cut
in
and dry.
like man's walking
Mm.
around with an AK shooting, right? So
Yeah,
he's like man on ends with the Tommy. So just to start with this, so Adam, you do have previous history of this film because you have also seen it, I believe.
yeah. So I
But
think we both
how long
watched it
ago
when it
was it
came out.
you have seen it though?
I haven't seen it since it first came out on Netflix. So did you say this was 2013?
15.
15.
Oh, 2015. Yeah, so I've not seen it since it came out. I think there was like a lot of hype around it when it was coming onto Netflix. So it was kind of like everyone needs to see this film. So everyone rushed to see it. And yeah, I saw it then. But not since then. I've not
Hmm.
thought about it too much since then. It's always been
Yeah.
in the back of my mind as like a good film. But
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the same for me. Because obviously I watched it and I was just like, I thought this is a cracking film. I was
yeah.
watching. It's just how it develops the story and it goes through. Would you be shocked to know that this was only a 6 million budget?
Yes. That
Hmm?
is
Six
surprising to be
mil.
fair.
6 million.
That's insane.
Initially, it was
nothing.
only 4.5,
Yeah.
but with extra added costs, it ended up being 6 million.
With Idris Elba. Netflix
Yeah.
got the Idris Elba in there. They must have paid him a decent amount, but that is surprising, to be fair. It does not look like a $6 million budget film at
No,
all.
it looks huge.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, because our director here also took over all the cinematography as well.
Yeah, that
Uh,
makes sense.
yeah.
But that 6 million budget, box office only did 90,000. Explaining reasons for that though are that it was released directly to online media and it was sold directly to Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apart from the other online streaming it did get, which was obviously very very limited because obviously no one really found it. It went straight to Netflix and Netflix bought it for 12 million. So they doubled their money on it.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think it's only because the digital films have to be released like box office to be eligible for award season. So
Yeah.
basically, like a lot of the Netflix films, they release in like a few select theaters just to make it
Yeah.
eligible. So it wouldn't have made like box office anyway. But you never really know with Netflix how much money these films really make, do you? I
Mm.
Mm.
mean, all these Adam Sandler films keep getting massive
Oh,
budgets, so they must be making money somewhere.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, who's still letting Adam Sandler run around with a budget though? Let's be honest.
Bro, I don't know. It's making money. Apparently, they're like the most watched films on Netflix, which
I
Yeah.
mean,
just
they
makes
would
you
be because
sick
people
when
just.
you could watch this, you
Uh,
know?
this
Like,
isn't to
watch
everyone's
Beast of No
taste. I mean,
Nation.
let's be honest. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a bit heavy at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of similarities to last week's film, like Grave of the Fireflies, where
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry,
it's kind of.
Dylan. I didn't mean to like force you into watching two war drama films back to
That's
back.
Yeah.
all right, man.
Yeah, I mean, you've got war films that the main characters are children. You've got
Oh
like
yeah.
I suppose the themes are very similar as like
Just the atrocities of
the
war.
corruption of innocence, yeah.
Yeah.
And then also it's like it's hard to recommend these films to certain people because
Yeah.
do people really want to watch like a drama about a kid committing atrocities in a African war, you know? It's very heavy.
Yes,
I mean, yeah, obviously we did,
yes.
We did.
but again, we're a different sort of demographic to the Adam Sandler he fell over in poop crowd, you know, for the normies out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but Dylan, when you first heard the title of the film, what was your first thoughts of it?
Uh, I have absolutely no idea. I've never heard of this. Never
Hmm.
even
Mm,
like knew absolutely nothing. Absolutely
mm,
nothing.
So I'm pretty sure when
fair
I
enough.
found this film, it was literally just like highlighted on Netflix. I went on Netflix one day and it was like, "Oh, you should check this film out," because it was one of your
Yeah,
positive high scores, and I was like, "Oh, okay,
Mm.
yeah, why not?"
yeah,
I see it's got Idris in. Do like a bit of Idris,
Yeah.
and
mm,
like I think this was around the time we'd been snowbombing as well, and obviously we'd just seen Idris
yeah, yeah.
in like a treehouse with smoking a ciggy whilst he was doing his
Mate, man
DJ
does
set.
everything. He's
So
doing DJing, he's doing rapping, and then he turns up in a war film,
Committing
and it's like,
war crimes. Yeah.
yeah,
oh,
He does
it's
everything.
like what did you do last Tuesday? Fucking hell.
yeah. Oh yeah, I just starred in this like Netflix drama that's getting rave
Yeah.
reviews, and I what are you doing next week? Oh, I'm just DJing in a fucking Austrian mountain. It's like, all right, Idris, calm down, mate. Save some life for the rest of us.
So how did we feel about the child performances? Because obviously this film is
Mm.
focused pretty much on the story of one young boy.
And
Oh,
yeah,
And
lots of
I,
other
I,
children as well.
yeah, but I
lots.
mean,
Yeah.
like this, I mean, like particularly like him and Striker,
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
who are, like I say, are basically the two main characters we follow throughout most of the film. Obviously, Agu is the main character.
yeah,
Main protagonist, yeah. Obviously
yeah,
not antagonist.
We've spoken before about, well,
Mm.
you protagonist and antagonist. You can take that either way, really. But
Yeah.
we've spoken before about how child acting is
Yeah.
suspect at times,
Yeah, we
right?
did.
very.
Uh, but how did we feel about the acting, particularly here in this film?
Mate,
Insane.
incredible. Yeah.
Insane.
Hmm.
I don't think we're going to disagree on that point. I think especially Agu, the main character, because the whole film is through his perspective. He's probably in every single shot of this film.
Mm,
He's always
mm.
there. And yeah, I thought his performance was genuinely incredible. Like for his age, he couldn't have been that old. He
Yeah,
must have
No,
been
I don't
like,
know how old he is, but he was
I mean, he
clearly not
doesn't
maybe
old.
look old at
14
all.
maximum.
Yeah. like I assume his character he was playing maybe like an 11 or 12-year-old
Yeah.
because he's like very small. But yeah,
Yeah.
like if even if he's like 14, and I assume this is one of his first performances,
Yeah.
incredible, like ridiculously good.
Yeah,
Honestly,
so he
like,
would have been 14 at the time of the film coming out. So he
there
might
you
not have even
go.
been 14 when the
Yeah,
So it would
so
shooting.
have
So
been
when they were
13 or even 12.
shooting, would have been
mm,
like 12 or 13. That's
That's
genuinely like
insane.
mind blowing.
Because the way he was, like, his presence on the screen
Mm,
was that of like a seasoned actor.
yeah,
Like, whenever he did anything, he kind of like almost demanded the attention, you know?
yeah, definitely.
It's insane,
Especially when he's up against Idris Elba as well. Like a lot of the scenes
right?
are them two talking, and you're
Yeah.
like, it could fall flat on his face. You got a 12-year-old actor, you got a seasoned actor. It's
Yeah.
like you imagine how bad this film could have been if that role was given to someone who couldn't do the same thing. You know, it would
Yeah,
have all fallen apart. And he's
mm.
so
honestly.
integral to the film because his character could be very one-dimensional, but it's the
Yeah,
complete opposite. He's so good at playing different
it's
roles.
just
You know.
any time he's in the movie, he's happy, sad, nervous, angry. Like, it's none of it felt fake at
Yeah.
all. There
Do you know
was
the thing as
nothing
well? There
there.
was like when it began as well, and it was like he was carrying around like the half TV, and like they were
Yeah,
making their
yeah,
own
yeah.
TV shows
Yeah.
out of it. It just showed such a beautiful innocence to him as
Mm.
well.
Honestly, that
It
is
seemed
one
very
thing.
realistic as well, because like you
Yeah,
could
Yeah,
I
imagine
mean,
them doing that.
it's like you're in a civil war. There's not a lot to go around, and you're just trying to entertain yourselves. And what you're doing is
mm,
you're just taking around a broken TV. Well, they broke himself,
yeah,
Mm.
but you're going around with your friends, and you're just doing silly little shows on this TV. And
yeah.
I found it's like such a refreshing innocence. And then
Yeah.
Honestly,
obviously we move forward about half an hour, and it's like all his family are dead, and you're like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
yeah. His brother
And
gets shot in the head. That
yeah,
scene, from that scene up until that point, nothing mad had really happened. There'd been a few, like,
Yeah.
you
There
know,
was like
execution
bubbling
style.
tension.
Yeah,
mm.
You could feel that something bad was going to happen because there was like little comments where it's like, oh, they're
As
coming
soon
in
as that
soon, you know.
witch came in with that fucking curse,
Yeah,
it was all
oh
downhill
my
from there.
days.
pretty much, yeah.
Oh
How
shit,
did you
I
not know
forgot
this,
about the
man?
witch's curse. Oh, it's
Yeah.
mad.
Right, she's the reason the family died.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Mm.
bruv.
But no,
But
like
yeah,
his performance as well, like he conveys like innocence and like horror at the same time. Like even though
yeah,
he's committing these things, you
Mm.
understand why he's doing it,
he
and you
has
can
to.
still sympathize with him
Yeah,
because you
you've
can
been
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like see it on his face.
That's a brilliant thing. You've got this child that's become a child soldier and he's murdered multiple people, but you still feel for him. You're
Yeah,
still
yeah,
looking at him. You don't think he's the bad guy because you've been taken through the story with him.
yeah. Although he is a bad guy, like I
Mm.
think it's good that it takes away from like the news article of like what that conflict could be. So you
yeah,
hear
Mm.
like the Coney 2012 child soldiers, they're
mm,
committing these crimes. I think this delves into like the psychology behind that
yeah.
because it's like all of those kids that are there doing these things, you know, they've probably got the same background as him, or if not
Oh,
worse, you know?
definitely,
Mm.
definitely. But yeah, it's especially like the one thing that was really good as well, which I quite like. Here, like now and then, when like a big event happens, and then you
Mm.
got like his voiceover saying like, "Oh God, if you can hear
Oh,
me,
yeah.
sorry for what I'm doing," all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I actually
He
really
like
liked his voiceovers as well. Yeah.
honestly, his voiceovers just elevated the movie for me because again, it just brings you back to like, oh shit, I've just watched him machete a man to death,
Mm.
but also he's a child, and he's literally you can hear it in his voice. He's a
Yeah.
child, and he doesn't want to do what he's doing, but he has to, you know.
Yeah, because the voiceovers are very innocent, but
Mm,
Mm.
what's
yeah,
happening isn't.
yeah,
The one thing that just does strike out to me immediately in this film, though, is that you've got a majority African cast, but
Yeah.
mm,
obviously you've also got Idris Elba. Now, I'm
Mm.
trying to figure out whether Idris was brought in just to offer a bit of star power, or
star power
whether.
definitely.
Yeah, maybe.
But I
I
mean, you can't say he doesn't do a good job in his role because, in fact, he does a very good job in his role.
He is
yeah,
incredible, to be fair.
Mm.
okay. here's the thing. I had the one
Right.
gripe was that his
Okay.
accent was off here and there.
I didn't mind.
Really?
I didn't think
It
so.
threw me a little bit. Yeah, there was certain words where he'd say it in just like an English accent almost
I didn't think it was too bad.
multiple times. It wasn't
Uh,
all right. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't too bad, but it did
yeah.
on certain parts take me out of it because I was like, oh, fuck, it's
Okay.
Idris. Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of weird where you've seen him before, so
yeah,
you're the whole time you are thinking it's Idris, but also he is portraying this character very
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 well,
well.
extremely well. Like no
Yeah.
remorse. Yeah,
See, his
he's
character I
great
Well,
feel
in
is
this.
quite interesting as well because he becomes so like hungry for the power he has, doesn't he?
Mm.
yeah. Although
He's
Dylan, you said no remorse. I kind of disagree because towards the end, you see him start to unravel. What I really like is that it makes him more human because he kind of doesn't even believe his own bullshit. Like when they all
Oh, okay,
leave
yeah, like near
and
the end.
he's
Yeah,
doing
yeah, yeah.
like he's trying to do that macho speech that he did at the beginning when it was working,
you'll be
and like
nothing
you can
without your
tell what he's
commandant.
saying. Yeah, but you
Mm.
can tell it's just empty. You can tell he's just
Yeah,
like an insecure, angry man, you know? And at the end of the day,
yeah,
they
yeah,
think of
yeah.
him as like a god at the beginning. But then
Mm.
towards the end, you just see that
He's
he's
just
just like
another man.
broken, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that.
Which
I
again
agree with
could
that.
fall flat on his face without that performance. Like he plays both of those sides very well. I mean, you don't feel sympathy for him at all.
No,
He is the devil, like he is the worst
literally devil
person ever.
incarnate. Yeah.
But
I mean, you
there's
look
also
at
those
what he's
little
done. He's
hints.
Mm.
Yeah,
because I mean, you take a look at
yeah,
what he's done. He's taken children. I mean, I'd say he's offered them some support in a way to make them feel like they're family. But
Mm.
I mean,
Backhandedly.
what he has done is he's
yeah.
turned them into killing machines.
It's a
And
cult, basically, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like that psychology of cult where he's like,
Family.
"I am your family. I'm your father. I'm your god." Just like,
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's I mean, it's a
yeah,
Oh,
case
are
of
you gonna go help your brothers? You
he
know.
mm,
sends them into war. I mean, there's even a section in this film about sexual abuse, and
yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
it is
Even that undercurrent in
heavy.
there. You're just like, oh, "Fuck's sake!"
Mm.
Now we got
Yeah,
this in as
you're
well.
just trying
Yeah,
to paint the worst picture of a man you can like bring to the table in a war situation. I mean,
yeah.
because you've got in terms of it, there's no one really you find in this film that has a good side other than maybe the
Mm,
UN soldiers.
No,
no,
not
Um,
not
even them.
them.
but
No, not them, Brad. I was going to bring this up quickly.
hmm,
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Mm.
Did you notice that the UN soldier who like, was helping him capture at the beginning was the one who shot his brother?
Yeah.
He was the one who
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
the
yeah.
one who was part of the government forces.
hmm.
So even the UN and the government and the rebels, basically, like there are no good guys in this conflict. It just shows
Yeah.
that
That's
everyone's as fucked as each other.
yeah. So yeah, my roommate was saying like, oh, like who is the good guy? And there's literally none because all three of the sides. There's three sides, right? There's
Yeah,
like
it's
the
kind of like
army.
splintered.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
there's
Mm.
loads of different sides. I thought for a small amount of time that the way these guys were going, like Agu's, like what are they called? The main group we're following,
NLF,
NDP,
I think.
MDF.
NDF, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
These
that's
guys,
it.
I thought for a split second that they were the good guys because they always
Mm.
used to go on. He did a big speech about we are saving our people, we are going to save our people, all of that kind of stuff. I was like, all right, so they're recruiting soldiers, so they're not good. But also
Yeah.
maybe it's for the greater good. But it turns out he
Mm.
just wanted to fucking go about and kill.
Yeah, but you've also
Literally,
seen that the government troops are not good guys
shit.
because they killed
Yeah,
innocent people.
Mm.
yeah,
The people in the village aren't good guys. The people
yeah,
who are ahead of the rebels aren't good guys because even they betray the commandant who like
yeah,
I mean obviously he's a piece of shit, but the guy he speaks to is also a piece of shit. So it's just like
yeah.
it
There's
shows
no
that in
good guys.
conflicts like this there is no good guys, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think they betray him, do they? They just ask him to step into a different position. At
Well,
which point
yeah, I
he then
mean
thinks, "Fuck that! I'm gonna kill the guy that's taking my tribe over, and we're gonna go solo."
Well, I mean, he did say that the other guy was going to take over his command and like he was getting demoted. Basically, I mean,
yeah, yeah,
he was basically saying because of image, this war's fought on image now. Which I
yeah,
mean,
Mm.
you can kind of see because they've been going around fucking committing atrocities. But
yeah,
it's like implied from the film that they're doing the same thing. It's like everyone involved in this is not, there's no black and white, there's no good, there's no bad. It's like any conflict in the world, it just
Mm,
depends on what side of the spectrum you're on, like which perspective do you think is good, because everyone
yeah,
thinks they're doing good but none of them
that's
are.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's
That's
really powerful.
so, how do we feel about the shooting of this film, particularly as well?
There are some scenes in this movie that were sick.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Some of these scenes, for instance, when they coerced Agu to kill the guy,
Hmm.
Oh
and he
yeah.
chops the guy in the head. The guy's just there like, what the fuck? Because
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
it
Yeah, you
doesn't cut
literally
away either.
see. Yeah,
exactly,
you
and
see
yeah,
the
it
knife
just
in his
straight
head,
into his head,
Mm.
and then he gets Stryker to help him. Stryker goes in,
and then he just starts
and then
chipping away the side of his head, and you're just like,
yeah,
Yeah.
oh my
and then
days.
it gets to the point where they're just kind of like, fuck it, I'm in now, and they start hacking away. And they're
Yeah.
hacking away. The blood is splattering all over the camera lens, and it's
Mm.
just like, what the fuck? It goes on for like 30 seconds. It's
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's
mental, and then you
brutal.
got Idris Elba's character, the commandant, just walking around saying like, "Ah, good, yeah," like the Emperor in Star Wars,
Yeah,
kind of just
it's so
laughing in the
fucked up.
background.
Yeah, but it's so strange
Yeah,
how it feels so normal to them. Like, not necessarily the
exactly. That's because it
children,
is.
like, because obviously this for
Yeah,
Agu is like a first time killing someone,
yeah,
but
yeah,
for everyone else around them who is
Mm.
watching a man being murdered, even though they don't know this guy, I mean, like, the guy was protesting for his life, saying, "I'm just an engineer, I'm here to
yeah,
fix a bridge," and they're like, "Ah, we don't care, fucking kill him."
yeah,
So,
Yeah, but then you get Agu's voiceover, which
yeah,
obviously
which
explains
is the
that
part.
he does care, and he's like, "What am I to do?" Like he's fucked
yeah,
basically. And you can
yeah,
think like, even though all the other people around there just look like they don't give a shit, at the end of the day, they're still children as well. So it's
yeah.
like they're basically
There's
being forced to do these things because they've got no other choice. It's like this
yeah.
is their family now, because
They either do
where's
that or they
Agu
die.
gonna go? Yeah,
Yeah, because if he leaves, they'll kill him. They like
exactly. Yeah.
in the initiations, if you failed, they just slit your throat.
But yeah, with the
So
shooting of that shot as well, there's a lot of slow mo in this film. There's a lot
yeah,
of
Mm.
like the sound cuts out and there's like slow mo images which I really liked. And
mm,
I feel like the film shot very sort of documentary style a lot
yeah,
of it.
yeah, yeah,
Like you're
yeah,
kind of there, a lot of handheld. You feel like you're sort of in the conflict.
yeah.
It's
You're just
shot
following
like,
them through
yeah,
like
like
Do
a
you
a
know?
war
documenter. Yeah,
documentary.
Yeah, do you want to know like the main thing for me that I enjoyed about this film is that in so many films, right, you're watching and the camera's all over the place during the action
Yeah,
scenes, right? I
yeah.
feel like this managed to capture the action scenes extremely well, and it
definitely. Yeah,
wasn't like
Honestly,
panning you away or like flipping the camera up and down and
yeah,
deciding it
no.
was going to do a loop de loop or some shit, you know?
Yeah. But that's because the camera never leaves Agu, basically,
mm,
because you're only seeing the war from his perspective. So you're not like the camera's not firing 100 feet over to capture someone shooting over there. Like you don't
yeah.
really see much of the conflict because you just
No,
see it
what
from
Agu
Agu's
sees.
point of view,
Yeah,
which yeah,
yeah.
again makes it feel very documentary. It makes it feel grounded. It feels very real.
Mm. Yeah, the only time you see the big wars going on is when like he's looking outside a window and he just sees
Yeah.
like people in the background, or when they're doing when they're trying to get the bridge and they're all like
Mm.
dancing and singing and stuff, trying to like hype him up and rile him up and
Yeah.
stuff to kill, and you
Yeah.
just see like panning shots of just like to the side, just people dying,
But
stuff
you
like that.
don't it doesn't show you a lot of the fights. It shows you either like the aftermath or the beginning of the fight. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't glorify the fighting at all. It's just like this is how it is, you know?
yeah,
Well, I mean, you do start some shoots where they're going into villages and then like just completely destroying people,
that's
but
true.
Yeah.
But I wanted to fast forward towards the end now because obviously we've left our commandant to leave himself in the trenches, and then
Yeah.
they've found the UN soldiers who have taken, like say, a lot of the children into camps. What did we think when we saw sort of Agu sort of finally come to a place where he could be with a real family? Um,
Mm.
what do we think? Sort of looking at it, how do we feel like if we was to take forward in time, let's say another 5 years, what kind of lasting effects do we feel like this could leave with someone?
Oh, he's fucked. He's
Yeah.
fucked
He
forever.
says it. I think he says it like the final speech with him
It's
and
one of
the
the most
UN woman.
perfect things I've heard
Yeah.
from a movie. It's the part where he goes, "I've seen some shit. If I tell you the shit I've seen,
Mm,
you'll think I'm a beast. If I say it out loud, I'm gonna get
yeah.
sad. You're gonna get sad. So I'm just gonna bury this shit, and we just don't
Yeah.
speak of it." And that, I feel like that's exactly what they do as a kid who's just seen
Mm,
that. Of course, you're not gonna try and go to therapy about it. You can't. There's no therapy that's gonna make you get over hacking a man to death.
yeah.
You
And
just gotta almost live with it.
it shows like a good representation of like PTSD because
Yeah,
he doesn't want to like tackle it. He doesn't want to talk about it because it's just going to make him sad. So I think he
yeah,
says like, I am a beast, but also I'm a child with a mother
yeah.
and a father and a brother. So he's kind
Mm,
of clinging on to that, and he's like, I'm gonna push it away. But as you said, like, how do you recover from this? It's
yeah,
kind of, again, it's like a conflicted ending because on the one hand, it's kind of happy because he is in a better place
yeah.
Mm.
than he was before, but also like he's got to live with that. He's
For
like
forever.
12 years
Yeah,
old.
because you
Yeah,
do see to begin with, he does adjust to his new does struggle to adjust to his new surroundings.
very much so.
Yeah,
Um, but sort of in the end, you sort of see he's like, okay, I can finally come to accept it. So,
a
Mm,
little bit. Yeah, the final shot is quite positive where he
mm,
finally joins the guys in the sea. I think that is the very last shot of the
yeah,
movie. So I suppose, yeah, you've got that little nugget of hope that
yeah,
he's going to be all right, because you do really sympathize with him like the whole way through. And I think that's part of his acting and also the character's well written. But it's like
yeah.
you want this guy to do well, you want him to have a better life.
yeah. I
Mm,
just thought it was interesting if you look at it as well that his mother and let's say the younger side of his family are probably still alive somewhere, but he's probably never going
Yeah.
to find them.
Yeah, you don't ever find out about the mum because I was thinking that I was like I couldn't remember the ending, and I was like, does he
Mm.
go to that town and like find his mum and have
yeah.
a hug or whatever? And that's kind of the stereotypical Hollywood ending of like, look,
Mm,
it's happy now, guys. We've seen some bad stuff, but it's happy. Whereas I really appreciate that it didn't go that
more
route.
realistic.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I said,
But
I'm sure that camp was probably just a camp for lost boys, really, wasn't it? So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, he's been
yeah.
put sort of in an environment with people that have sort of shared the same sort of story, but you can see he's really struggling to come to terms with it, and
Mm.
but it's just it gives you an interesting perspective on things. That's all I thought.
It's better. It's
mm,
a lot. I think it's a lot better ending than them finding. Because realistically, they're not. He's not gonna fucking find his mother and sister for
Hmm.
no,
years.
like the
Probably
country's
never.
been torn apart.
Torn apart. For all he knows, they're dead. How do you even
Mm,
find someone who you just know their name? You
Do you
know?
think the
yeah.
film may have hit differently if we found Agu die during a war conflict?
Hmm.
Not really. I think that would have been a bit too miserable.
Hmm.
I know the film, as we've said, is very heavy, and like it's a very realistic portrayal of this kind of war,
Mm.
where you're not expecting it to be flowery. You know it's going to be bad, but I do think like if Agu was to die at the end, it would have just been like a sort of like punch in the gut, like
Yeah.
yeah, this is just depressing. It's how it is. I did like that there was that bit of hope at the
That
end.
glimmer. Just a small little.
Hmm.
Mm.
Okay, so do we have any negative things to say about this?
Um.
A little bit.
No.
I think
Not really.
Hmm.
there's not much negative to say about this film. Again, it's similar to last week where we were struggling to find some. I do
Yeah.
think I didn't like some of the music. I thought the music was a bit too schmaltzy at times, if you know what I mean. So like there was a lot of those slow mo scenes
Yeah.
where you're seeing these things, or like after a certain character had died, that you would get that musical build up in there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I thought it was kind of a bit unnecessary. It felt like
I
it was
feel that.
trying to make you feel what you was already feeling, but it
Yeah.
didn't. It wasn't like, oh, I'm sick of this. Like I don't like this music. I did
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
some of the music, but at times it did seem a bit forced, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. That's fair. One negative I thought I had was that it it slows down a lot in certain parts of the movie, but that for me I don't think that is a negative. It just it
Yeah.
helps build the story a bit more. It helps kind of, yeah, it doesn't all need to be slashing and hacking, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did think it felt its length a little bit on my
It
second
did a
watch.
little bit, but I don't
Mm.
think I don't think I'd necessarily take anything out of the movie to
No.
shorten it.
Uh,
But
for me, there's
yeah,
always something happening throughout the film, though. So that's
yeah,
even though it's a
Yeah.
runtime of over 2 hours,
2 hours 20 minutes.
there's always something that's happening. So for me, it's
Mm,
always got my
Hmm.
attention because there's always something you need to be following in the picture.
Yeah.
Do
mm,
we want to finish up with some thoughts, boys?
Yeah, overall, I feel like the film was better on first watch when it was more fresh. Because
mm,
obviously I didn't know too much about it. There's a lot of surprises in the film as well, which I think on first watch to kind of catch you more. Second watch, I did enjoy it still, but I did notice a couple more things that were a bit of a letdown, like the music, and it did feel a little bit too long for me. I think that's just personal preference because I'm not sure I'd take anything out or shorten it down, but I
yeah,
did kind of check the runtime like an hour and a half in, kind of thinking like this is going quite slow, but
yeah,
that's not like a massive negative. Yeah,
mm,
for me, I think it's a really well made film. I really like war films that are like grey and it shows like a more realistic portrayal of conflicts because no wars are just like we are the good guys, they are the
yeah.
bad guys. These typical American films like Black
Hate
Hawk Down, which is set in Africa, and it's just like we're the squad, we got to go in.
them.
Faction.
Like, mate,
Yeah,
like this isn't real life. And also, I hate films where Brad said we're like flashy action and it's like constant things going off. It's like
yeah,
most wars aren't like that. Wars are long, drawn out, miserable affairs, you know. And this was a
yeah,
very realistic portrayal of war, and
yeah,
Just
the
one more thing to
acting
jump
was
in on is
incredible.
that
yeah,
also with wars is that a lot of the times people don't actually die from war; they die from the effects
Yeah,
of the war.
yeah, yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And you see that in this film as well. Just
Mm.
more towards the end, where the commandant has decided to take everyone off, and they end up just dying in trenches.
Yeah, or
yeah.
they're dying because they're taking drugs as well. That's another
Yeah,
Exactly.
aspect that people don't talk about. Like Vietnam, American soldiers came back addicted to heroin because they were just all on drugs, dealing with a
Yeah,
conflict of
everyone's
war.
popped on opium, and they're just like, "Fuck that, man."
yeah,
Yeah, so it's a really good, realistic portrayal of like conflict, and I
mm,
really appreciate that. I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars. That's the same rating that I gave it originally, and it still holds up. I definitely
yeah.
recommend it to people, and it is a very good film. Very, very
Very good.
good.
Right. I. There's not much more to say to what Adam said.
Mm,
Like, it is just a great movie from the acting to just the portrayal of just everything that happened. It's not your typical Hollywood blockbuster with
yeah.
fucking Matt Damon swooping in off a
Yeah.
helicopter. You know, it's
Fucking Matt Damon.
To save his
Actually,
love
wait one
interest.
sec. One sec. Do you know one thing I did think that is a massive positive? There
what?
was no white characters because I could just imagine if like Matt Damon turned up as a UN guy
Oh my
and he's
god.
like hugging the kids and he's like, I'm gonna save you.
I will save you.
There was no white saviors in this entire
Exactly.
film. It was an African told
Yeah,
story, you know, and I really
great. Yeah,
appreciate
no, I agree with that. So yeah, no Matt Damon, that's a positive. But yeah, no, overall, such a good movie. I'm glad you recommended it. Um, I gave it a 4, I think, but
Mm.
I'm tempted to give it 4.5.
I was gonna say you gave it a 4, but you've got no negatives.
Yeah, I'm tempted to give it 4.5, so I
See,
might
this is my
change
issue
that.
last week. I was sort of like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't, it doesn't have that wow factor to me, but there was nothing really I could say bad about it. So,
Yeah, like
Sometimes that happens though, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
hmm,
So you can't put your finger on quite what you didn't like about it,
yeah.
but it's just not like fully there, like not
Yeah,
a
like
five
it's a
star
good movie.
film.
It just maybe
Yeah.
not my cup of tea, you know? Maybe not
Mm.
what I wanted to watch at that evening, kind of thing.
I mean, how did the girls in your flat feel about having to watch another war film?
They were they literally like about an hour in, it's like, why do we only watch sad films? And I was like,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
To be fair, it's been a bit of a run of just like
Yeah,
these
yeah.
miserable war films.
Let's just watch Up next week, alright, boys? Cool.
Yeah, no, Up, I cried at.
So-
I cried at Up. Oh, fuck. But yeah, Brad.
For me, as I say, I really enjoyed this film. First time watching, and then this time around as well. It just tells such a story for me, and I like just following the whole characters
Mm,
and seeing how the story develops, and it gives you like a real sense of this does actually happen in the world somewhere.
yeah.
Mm,
So off that basis, and again, I've not got any particular negatives about this film. I'd say I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars when I first saw it. I'm still giving it 5 stars now.
fair,
Fair enough.
Like I said,
fair.
the acting performances, the story portrayal, and just the emotional connection you have to people. That for
Yeah,
me is like that's empowering enough. So
I
Yeah.
can't stress enough how good the acting was from everyone involved.
mm.
Yeah.
There was not a
Definitely.
single person where I was like, you know,
Man, like little Striker didn't even need to say a word, and I was still like,
Mm.
fucking Striker. I
bro,
love that guy.
honestly,
Yeah.
love that guy.
We need Agu to do some more shit though. He better have a good career after this because people need to watch
Honestly,
this shit
Well,
and
this was
give
5 years
that man
ago,
his
so I mean,
flowers.
he's probably
Yeah.
gone on. Do you know what? Give me 2 seconds. I'll try and pull up if he's done anything since
yeah,
then.
because
Aye.
right now he must be what 19 or something like that.
Mm.
He was in a short film called Out of the Village. I think that's again just pretty much an African based film.
Yeah,
Beast of No Nation was his first ever film, by the way.
Jesus.
that's
Um,
insane.
That is insane.
but let me just throw some of the nominations he got and some of the things he won. So he won Black Film Critics Circle Rising Star Award. He
Mm.
won Ghanaian Movie Awards Best Actor in a Leading Role in the Discovery of the Year. He won Independent Spirit Award for Best Male Lead. He won National Board of Review Award for Best Breakthrough Performance. He won Venice National Film Festival Marcello Mastroeni, I don't know, the Best Young Actor Award. So they're all the ones he
Yeah.
won.
Mate, he got
He was
snubbed
also
Deserve more.
Oscars. He should have had all of it.
he was I say he also what else is serious? Okay, so he also was nominated for a Critics' Choice Movie Award. He was nominated for a NAACP Image Award. He was nominated for a Screen Actors Guild Award.
Damn.
Okay.
So
That's big to be
and
fair.
also just another factoid is that Idris Elba is the first person to ever win a Screen Actors Award without being nominated for a Grammy.
Damn.
Yeah, because they basically snubbed Netflix films. This was before they even considered
Yeah.
them.
Okay. Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's on Netflix. It's not a real film." It's like,
Yeah. I've
it kind
never
of is,
understood
mate.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's only in 2 other films. One of them is Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh, fair
He plays
play.
someone called Abe Brown. I have not seen Homecoming, so I can't tell you who that character even is.
No, I don't know that character.
I don't know if Abe. I'm guessing he's not a big character.
No, fair enough.
No.
Well, let's hope he goes on to do some big things.
And
Yeah.
he's got one film in the
he
pipeline
deserves it.
called Tasmanian Devil,
Oh, Tasmanian
which
Devil,
is
as in
an
Looney
American
Tunes.
drama.
Fair play.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, good.
Cool. Cool.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Choose.
Right. Yeah,
Mm.
good film
Yeah,
anyway.
no.
Good
Smashed it.
film.
Maybe next week, whoever's throwing the film suggestion out, we just maybe mump something a bit more positive.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, it's after Dylan. Right. So that was our film review this week, and now we move on to Dylan's album suggestion.
Oh no. I'm
So
scared.
disclosure. Let's settle in and talk
Oh,
about settle.
How long are you
No.
waiting for that for? How long was you waiting for
A
that?
long
I
time.
literally just thought of it. No, honestly, bro, I just thought of that. You cannot put a filter on me, bro. I just thought of that.
Right, okay,
Take
so-
it away, Dylan.
So Disclosure are an English electronic music duo consisting of brothers Howard and Guy Lawrence. So they
Mhm.
grew up in Reigate in Surrey. Fun.
Right.
And yeah, this is their first studio album, released in 2013, which I thought it was older than that, but yeah, 2013. And it was nominated for Best Dance/Electronica Album at the 2014 Grammys.
Okay.
So pretty good. It's not bad.
Right.
Yeah, like I say, when I was checking it out myself, it did seem pretty positive across the board from most
Yeah.
people.
So I chose this purely because I like a lot of Disclosure's songs. I've never
Yeah.
listened to an album, but they have so many songs that are just always on the radio, or just like always playing at the house parties and stuff like that. So yeah, decided
Yeah.
to.
The one thing I said about when I first started listening to this album is I was looking through the list and I was like, I've already heard a lot of these songs. They released so many of these singles.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of
Everyone
these are
has,
singles,
yeah.
yeah, apart from a
I mean,
couple
what
which
like
we will get onto.
the standard album and play is 14 tracks and 7 of them were released. So I'd already heard half the album.
Yeah,
Yeah. And the deluxe is 18 songs,
and
15 hours long.
yeah, it's like 2 hours 30 minutes or something like that. It's insane. But
Yeah.
yeah, so let's get into this. Oh, also we decided to leave out the last 4 songs
Well, no, we
because
left out
Yeah,
the
because the
deluxe.
deluxe
yeah,
edition is the only one available on Spotify. But
yeah,
I listened to the deluxe edition and went for a bike ride, and I basically did like 20 miles and got home, and the album was still playing. So I was like, Dylan, can we
yeah,
just talk about 14 songs,
yeah,
please?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
otherwise, this is going to be our longest episode yet.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, so let's start. Let's start. So when a fire starts to burn, right?
Wait,
First
well, you're
song.
forgetting the intro, bruv.
You're forgetting the intro. What's
Can't
Oh,
going
forget
the
your
on,
intro.
intro.
man?
This is
Yeah.
like such a pivotal point of the album. What are
Yeah, what do you
playing
mean?
Anyways, the intro is just talking. I found
Yeah.
out that the guy who was talking was a guy called Eric Thomas, who is a
Mhm.
motivational speaker, and they sampled him for the intro and when a fire starts to burn. All right, so when a fire starts to burn, okay, I I want to start with Adam. This is your this first song on the album. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll just say I have heard this album
Oh
before
yeah,
when
yeah,
it
yeah,
came out a few years ago. I wasn't like I didn't hate it when it first came out, but it was kind of one of those times where it was like a bit
yeah,
backgroundy because as you said, there's a lot of singles and like White Noise was out
yeah,
and a
yeah,
couple of the others, and I was like, I'll check out the
yeah, yeah.
album, could be pretty good. But yeah, like when the fire starts to burn, straight away the bass slaps.
Amen.
Okay,
Yeah,
so pretty consistent across a lot of this
yeah,
album is there are some really like banging bass. I mean, this is
yeah.
dance music, so you've got to have your drums in there and you've got to have some banging
Mm,
bass. Like if you're not having banging bass, you're doing something wrong. But yeah, this song's got good energy,
yeah,
It's very you said it's like a motivational speaker. It did remind me of like an exercise class.
yeah. I feel
So
that.
like obviously when I was riding my bike listening to this first time,
Yeah.
I was getting a bit hyped. It was
Mm.
it was adding to
Yeah,
my it
Adam
was
felt
adding
like he
to
was in his
my
spinning class.
cycling. Yeah, no, genuinely.
I feel that.
Yeah, the drop is pretty filthy as well.
It is. It is.
It comes in without when the fire starts to
Yeah,
burn and then
yeah,
it
yeah,
builds up and then when it drops, it's like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Also, I,
This
I,
is actually a bit of a banger.
I just want to say, precursor. I struggled to explain, like, to write down things about like the songs because there
Yeah,
weren't real instruments. It was just like
yeah.
noise. But
It's
yeah,
like the synthy noise and the bassy
yes,
noise sound very
The
nice.
literally,
bobby
Yeah,
wobby
yeah,
bit and
that's
literally.
what it
the
was me.
bloopy bit.
Yeah, the wub
Yeah, yeah,
wub and the yeah, yeah, yeah. But no,
The
yeah.
doop
There's
doop
gonna be a
so
lot of
doop.
that.
I agree with what you said, Adam. What I said was
Mm,
absolute banger, definitely a gun fingers in the air kind of song.
yeah,
That's what I said. It's just one of those songs where you put it on and it's just like you're bopping your head. It's a bit
yeah,
dirty. What I did say is that you instantly know it's a Disclosure song
yep.
from the drums kicking in. Like that's with most songs Disclosure makes.
Hmm.
It starts off with the drums kit and then the bass and then it just carries on
Yeah,
doing what it does.
what I feel Disclosure have
Yeah.
done well to stand out is that they've taken house music and just added a bit more oomph to it.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm,
so it's like it's still got that sort of chill house vibe, but it's also just a bit more upbeat. It's a bit more
Mm.
in your face. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and I will say before I start talking about this album is that house music is not one of my like high points in music.
yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Uh, but there's some tracks here that Disclosure have
yeah.
done quite well, and like I say, this is one of them. When the fire starts to burn, this is a song I've had in
Yeah.
my playlist for years. Um,
Mm.
yeah, it's
Mm.
just overall, it's just a good track. Like I say, you
Mm,
may find it hard to just discuss how you like the track because of the whole like wubby noises and the boop
Yeah,
boop
yeah,
noises and the space bits and the doop doops and whatever else.
yeah.
But Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
the one thing is obviously as well is that I find sometimes in music when you just repeat a line over and over again, it becomes quite annoying. This somehow didn't become annoying, so
Yeah,
I sort of just enjoy it. It's very
Yeah.
simplistic,
This song,
yeah.
it kind of worked.
but
Yeah.
it's simple to a point where you're not like
Yes.
hating it.
Mm. Let's move on to Latch. Right
Mm.
now, you're going in
Right.
first.
Let me come in.
Hey, right,
No,
just
let me
for just
let me
like
go,
just
fam. Let
quick
me
on here,
go.
just quick on this, right?
Coach,
Adam is not a
coach, I'm
Sam Smith
ready.
fan, so
Tag
this
me
is
in.
already biased.
Now
Go on, then.
let me just start right. The first thing I wrote, right, very first words I wrote was I am biased. Okay. As I do not like Sam Smith's voice at all.
Oh
I
my
just
god,
it grates on me. It's like Ed Sheeran,
it,
Nicki Minaj,
it's
Sam
happening
Smith. I
again.
just don't like them as artists, right? Oh no, Dylan's copied my notes again. But like when he did that James Bond theme song, right? That's one of the
Mm.
worst songs I've ever heard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I was just like, fucking shut up, please. He ruins the song for me,
Fair enough.
just straight up. It's very generic. It's the verse and then the chorus, and it doesn't change an awful lot. And it's just a formulaic pop song. Like there's nothing else to say. The instrumental is fine. It's standard. It's
Yeah,
radio friendly, but it doesn't change at all. And when the vocals are annoying me, I just
yeah,
can't
that's
like the
fair.
song. It's just very
That's fair.
bad.
I'll jump in now. I'll jump in again. So first thing off the bat, I fucking hate Sam Smith. I don't dislike him. I hate him. I
Here we
said,
go.
and also, no offense, Sam, if you're listening to this podcast, but I hate your voice.
Yeah.
He sounds like he's seven
Yeah.
seconds away from an emotional breakdown at any time. Do you know what I mean? Um,
Hmm.
saying that, this is my
Yeah.
most listened to song of all time.
Are you serious? Are you fucked in the head? I did not think this was the song. Wait, when you
Oh,
said that your
yeah,
favorite song was on this album, please tell me you was not talking about this.
I was. This is
You're fucking donut, mate. What
this
are
is
you on
by
about?
far my most listened to song of all time. Just ever.
Holy shit.
I put this on anywhere. It's for me a fucking
Why?
banger. I don't know what it is about this song. I said I have no idea why it is my most listened to. It just is. It's so good. It's just so simple.
Yeah.
Just simple drum beat, simple bass, but
Yeah,
synthy. Yeah,
simple. Yeah.
like the synthy violins. I don't particularly like his voice, but it goes with the song, and it just is my most listened to song, and I don't know why.
Let me break it down a
So
little more for you.
Okay.
please,
So
please,
with Sam
Adam
Smith, I
hates
feel
it.
like the issue with his vocals at times is that it's the high pitched whininess of it, right?
Yes,
Yes.
that's what I mean.
Exactly
He
that.
sounds like
Yeah.
he's crying.
It's
Now,
horrible.
Yeah,
what he's managed to do in the verses, he's not been full on Sam Smith. He's been chilled down Sam Smith. He only goes full on
agreed.
100% Sam Smith when he gets to the chorus.
Mm.
But I think what Disclosure managed to do quite well in this song is mask the bits where he gets too ridiculous, right? So when he obviously breaks into the chorus and he's like, "I got you in my face," right?
Yeah.
It's
Bro, that's spot
it,
on. That sounds exactly like it.
they've masked it a little bit by trying to put in like those like little wubby noises and the backing bass and the drum track to try and sort of clamp it down a bit because they're like, he's gonna come in
Yeah.
hard. We need to come in harder, right?
Right.
For me, I've always enjoyed this song. And
I like this song.
there's even an acoustic version that is just basically Sam Smith and a guitar, and I don't mind that either.
Oh no,
Because I don't absolutely hate Sam Smith, unlike the pair of you two.
fair.
I
Yeah,
would not choose to listen to a Sam Smith album, but I can listen to tracks of
never.
Sam Smith and go, okay, that's all right. Although there's one bad thing about Sam Smith I've always had was that I remember seeing him do like some live performance with like Jessie J, and it was the most over the top, horrendous vocal performance I've ever seen in my life.
Oh
Have you ever
god,
seen those vocal performances where someone's
Juicy
just like,
J, yeah?
yeah, with Juicy J? Have you?
Juicy J.
You know what I'm talking about though? When someone's just like,
Yeah, trying to do the notes with like the.
No.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
Fergie,
that was
National
exactly
was
it.
Sam
Anthem
Smith.
by Fergie.
Fergie
like
National
that.
Anthem. That's it. That is
Yeah,
it.
do the
Star
Fergie.
Spangled
Hey, just-
Banner. Yeah.
oh, say, can you see? Mm,
That's it. That's the
Yeah.
one. But yeah,
Trash.
overall, I really like this song.
moving
a lot.
on. Moving
Right.
on.
Moving on. Right, now that that's out of the way, Adam can start what's it called?
Maybe.
Abusing me. Yeah. F for you.
Mm.
Yeah, again, don't hate this song. Got the old vocals from Mary J. Blige. Like I say, I'm pretty sure that's not re-recorded as well. I'm pretty sure they just sampled it.
Mm,
But yeah, don't hate it, don't love it. That's where I'm at with this song. The
fair.
the fact is that you got a lot of these tracks that were released. They were just sort of pumped out after the like say because what would you say is the biggest one? Where probably White Noise is the one we're about to move
Yeah,
into.
White Noise
definitely.
is probably
Probably the biggest track off the album. Maybe Latch. If I mean, for you guys, obviously being biased, but I'm pretty sure Latch was also massive as well.
Mm.
Latch has got like hundreds of millions of views on YouTube.
Yeah. So for
Yeah.
me, it just felt like it's been thrown in there in between all the singles, and they chucked that one out as well because it's got MJ Blige on. So yeah, for me, pretty standard. Just yeah, I don't really have much more to say about it. There's like I say,
Oh,
we'll move on.
Fair.
I did like this song, to be fair.
Yeah.
The wobbly bass is funky as
Yeah.
fuck. Like I really like the bass again. You got that
Yeah.
you got that like sort of half dubsteppy wobble in there, you know. You know the
Yeah.
sound. Like if you listen to any
The wob.
Disclosure song, you'll
Yeah.
probably hear that at one point, yeah. I
Yeah.
did like that there was like a drop into like a more psychedelic sound as well. Do you know what I mean? It
Mm.
was a bit more
Yeah.
floaty, a bit more like spacey, and I appreciate that
Yeah.
because it
There was
did
the
sound
long
different.
synthy sounds before the chorus and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and
Yeah.
this song did change up enough for me where I found it more interesting. So, like as we said, like a
Yeah.
lot of it can just be drum track and then repeat some things. This one was a bit
Yeah.
more complex, not like
Spicy.
too complex, but yeah, all right, a bit spicy. Yeah, they
Had a bit
chucked
of
some
paprika
paprika
in
on there. Yeah,
it.
yeah. So I did like this song. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Same for me. Well, a little bit more exaggerated. I think it's fucking tune. This is like one of the
Mm.
ones that it would come on the radio or something, and you just fucking pump it up a little bit in a car kind of thing, you know?
Yeah,
I said that echoey xylophony thing in the
yeah,
back that you hear that randomly pops off is sick. It's a nice
yeah,
little addition. And the muty synth drum beat that's always going on in the background, the tss, 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 kind of just
yeah.
really good. I really enjoy this song. This is for me one of my favorite songs purely because it's just got that summer vibe to it, you
Mm.
know? It's got that summer 2015, 2016 vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's a good song. It's a good song. Moving on.
So
White Noise.
summer 2015. Now, White Noise was
Yes.
everywhere. Summer
Oh, you could
2015.
Everywhere.
not
Yeah,
escape this song.
you could not escape it, right? But I actually really like this song. This is my
It's unbelievably good.
yeah. This is my favorite song on the album. I'll start by saying that.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
one of those songs that is a playlist song. It's like
A
everyone's got it in a
100%.
playlist somewhere. It's like, oh, you heard
Yeah,
White Noise. It's like, yeah, of course I fucking heard White Noise, mate. Yeah, I do not hear it.
yeah.
But yeah, like the song
Yeah.
itself, it is a banger, to be fair. It's really catchy, but
Yeah.
it's not like generic enough to the point where it's just like a standard pop song. I feel like this is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the perfect pop house song, you know? It comes on
Yeah.
the radio, and usually if I'm listening to radio, I'm like, this is shit. This is shit.
Yeah.
If this comes on, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, hang on a second. I like this, you know? Yeah, it's just like
Mm.
very dance friendly. And if you was like listening to this live or like at a club or wherever you young whippersnappers are these days, you bop to it, you know. You can't help but like
100%.
get a bit of a two step
It's one of
going.
those. It's one of those ones where you're kind of bopping your head.
Yeah,
You're chilling to it, even if you don't listen to this kind of
yeah.
music,
And the one
it will
thing as
still get you
well
tapping.
is that repeated xylophony like synth that we'll probably
Yeah.
mention a lot. It's a very Disclosure sound, right? I
Yeah.
could just listen
It's
to that
very.
that like sequence for like fucking 10 minutes because it's just so
Yeah.
catchy and sounds really good, you know?
Catchy is the main word I used for this. I
Yeah.
said the main beat is so catchy, and just like the electro-y drum thing, the muted bass line, just like it all just layers on so well. Like there's some songs we'll get onto which I didn't like with
Mm.
like the instruments and stuff, but the way the song just kind of like slowly kind of climbs and then it just gets to the chorus and it just fucking it's just a good party song, you
Yeah.
know? Slap it on the house party, everyone's got their fucking vodka lemonades,
Yeah.
we're chilling.
Yeah, so for
Definitely.
me, my issue is that obviously I used to be out in the clubs quite a lot, and
Mm.
this song
Mm,
played
Yeah.
all the damn time. Okay, and
yeah,
I've got to a
I can
point
imagine.
now that 5 years later, I'm a bit like, okay, I do not ever need to hear this song ever again because I've
Yeah.
heard it 50 million times.
That's fair enough. It
Um,
is
I,
one of
I
them songs.
yeah, again, I mean, I've never hated the song, but it's never a song that I was like, oh, this is a cracking tune. I get what you
Yeah.
mean. You got the cool like the dum 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 ba-da-da-dum, dum 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 dum. Yeah, you know, it's a
Yeah.
bit
Mm,
funky. It gets you rhythm tapping. But for me,
yeah.
this song's basically also a bit of a copy of Latch because it's basically doing the same thing.
I
Um,
mean, we'll get onto that, but a lot
it's
of the
doing the same
songs
thing with a different
are doing
vocalist
the
that you
same
don't
thing.
hate. Okay,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
so.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
yeah, it's very much just following their code that they've sort of written themselves now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yeah, so for me, I couldn't enjoy this song that much because I've just heard it so many times.
Mm.
that's fair. Right. Next song, Defeated No More.
I was defeated.
Yeah. You go first, Adam. Go on.
Right. This is the most standard drum pattern
It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
ever.
long
Right.
as well.
There's
It is
just there's
Oh,
one word for this song, and that is
6 minutes
just
long.
standard, right? If
Yeah.
you put all the elements into a piece of software and said, make me a house song, a
An
generic
average
house
house
song,
song.
this is what it'd
Yeah.
come up. But as you said, right, why does this need to be 6 minutes long? All I said was it's just far
Six
too long,
minutes, 7 seconds.
and it doesn't change. It's
It,
this
at all.
a lot of the songs on this album do avoid the stereotypical repetitive dance music, right? Because a
Yeah.
fair criticism of a lot of dance like
Ninety
outfits, right?
percent of it.
Yeah, is that
Yeah.
it's just the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
But they decided to embrace that on this because it's literally the same drum pattern, the same synths for
The
6 minutes.
exact same. I think they made a 3 minute song and they're like, right, let's copy and paste
Yeah, but that
and let's do it
happens
to
a
six
lot on
minutes.
this album, I think. A lot of the songs
Yeah.
are 4+ minutes long.
Yeah.
Some of them are like 6 minutes, some of them are 5.5 minutes, and I'm just like, I've already
Mm,
heard the song. You don't need to keep repeating it, mate.
yeah. I completely agree with that. I I also said though that the chorus just sounds messy. There
Mm,
was like one or two layers too much. There was like so much going on. It was like a fucking cacophony of shit going on.
mm.
It kind of stressed me out. So I was
Yeah.
listening to it. I was like, all right, boring, boring, boring. Chorus, oh, I don't like this.
Boring,
That's
boring,
literally
boring.
what I was. Didn't like it.
yeah.
Not a fan of this song.
This
This is the
song they
first time
just
I'd heard this song as well.
hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, I think this
didn't
song they
like it.
really just embrace sort of the house roots and they decide let's just go
Mm,
Yeah,
basic bitch house.
yeah,
So maybe that's for their day ones. I don't know, but I didn't enjoy it. So
maybe, yeah. No,
yeah.
and also the
This
vocals I found really boring as well. His delivery was just like
flat,
defeated
monotonous.
no more. It's like
Yeah,
me when I'm just like trolling.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Literally, that is it. So
Mm.
stimulation. I'll go first because this was fucking meh.
Mm.
This is meh for me.
Okay.
It's just the very just bread and butter techno beat with the drum, and it's just there's nothing there. There's no flavor. There's just it's very plain. It's very flat, and it's 5 minutes of the same bass line
Oh
and
yeah.
just a vocal. Yeah, not a fan. I had not much to say about this. There's just nothing I liked about it.
Mm.
Everything was just very like if someone was making a cake, they'd make it with all the ingredients but leave out vanilla.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just
we're
that.
we're back on the food metaphors. Yeah,
I'm so hungry right now.
boy.
Uh, yeah, that's what I thought of this. It's just nothing there for me.
Mm.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I did really like this song for the first three
What?
minutes. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
again, it goes on for too long. It feels like you've already heard everything you need to hear after like the first. It kind of repeats itself like 3 or 4 times. It's like you only
Yeah.
need two. Just make it 3 minutes long, and we'd
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
be
yeah.
all right. I really
This is
like the
5 minutes
drums on
20
this.
seconds long.
Yeah, I know that's
I
what I
like
mean.
the drums. Don't get me wrong. It
Because
it is. It's good.
they were different because this, as you said, this is more of a fast tempo, like techno beat. It's
Yeah.
less house. It's more. It's got those break beat drums that, like, when we spoke about Prodigy, we were talking about how the
Yeah.
drums
Yeah.
are like fucking sick. I feel like this had
Yeah.
like a little bit of that, and the beat is genuinely like thumping, like hard. It's just like. So
Yeah.
this is like again one of them workout songs where you're like, yeah,
I can see that.
as long
Yeah.
as you're doing something while this song is on, it's gonna get you pumped up. But sitting down
Yeah.
and just listening to it for 5 minutes, it's just too long.
Yeah.
It's just repetitive
Five
and
minutes
boring.
20
I'm
seconds.
not. I think you sort of cracked it there. I don't think like
Yeah,
this music's meant to be digested in a way where you break it down like we do.
no.
You're right.
But then
You're right.
we're looking
You've
at it from an
definitely got. You're on
album
something.
perspective because it's like these songs in
Yeah.
isolation are probably fine in a playlist, but as soon as you sit down and you have to listen to this, it's when it becomes like you're like, no, this is way too long.
Yeah.
Joe,
Yeah.
this is not paying attention to music. This is, you're doing some housework and you throw it on in the
Yeah.
background and you're like, oh, do you know what?
You're
This
right.
this is
Like
a
you're doing the
banger.
spring
Oh
cleaning.
yeah.
Mm,
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because you're not putting too much thought into it. Like
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
when
We're
you
putting a lot of thought
when you
in.
hear this, when you hear it in a club and you're like doing your thing, you're like, hey, it's a
Mm,
Gun fingers
tune,
out.
yeah. Yeah.
Gun
But
fingers
when
out.
when
Straight.
you're sitting at home and you're kind of trying to
Mm,
digest it, it's just not the same. So
Yeah.
I
You
feel like
can't really write notes to it.
I think for this track particularly, it's atmosphere. I think it just
mm.
depends on your environment. And I feel like for me sitting down and listening to this, it wasn't the right environment.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
if you put the album out and these are the songs that you choose to put on your album, then you kind of like you're still putting it out there, and we've got to
Well,
consume it as an album.
again, this could
You
just be
know?
genre preference from us though. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
mean, there's probably
maybe.
people that like love this and just sit here listening to like they'd want it to be 17 minutes long and have
They're
those
on
same
drugs,
drum
bro.
tracks
Yeah.
going
They're
constantly.
on
Like,
drugs. They're on all the drugs.
Right. Moving on from that song. Voices.
boring is basically where I'm at. Boring. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, a lot of the rest of the album, I sort of, it just sort of droned on. Um,
A
I
little
mean,
bit,
we'll
a
go
little
through
bit.
it because my issue is with a lot of the rest of the tracks on this album, there was remixes that made that were better songs.
Oh yeah. I was
Mm.
gonna bring that up in the end.
But a lot of these songs got remixed and they actually were a lot better than the original. I mean, I'm not taking
Amen.
that away from Disclosure because again, Disclosure obviously made the original track, but someone's come along and made a lot of these songs better. And this one particularly,
Yeah.
again, it just falls flat a little bit to me. Yeah, let's say
Fair enough.
there was. I mean, at least this track was shorter. That's
Yeah,
where I'm at with it. But for me, just like the performance, the a lot of the sounds you've already heard already, so there was nothing
yeah,
all that new in here. So for
yeah.
me, that's where I was at with it.
Yeah, I agree with Brad in terms of the album, but I did actually enjoy this song. I feel like this was a generic dance track, but I did think it was elevated by the vocals. I actually really
Yeah.
like the performance on this. I feel like just in general, we've spoke about this before, but I do think female vocals work better on this kind of song anyway, like electro-y
Yeah.
dance. It just sounds
Yeah.
good when you put like a female on there for some reason. And
Yeah.
this sound, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Subtract, but this sounds very similar to Subtract.
I've heard. I am familiar ish.
Yeah, I mean you might not know, but yeah, I thought it was well executed, but again, it
Yeah.
is very similar to what's come before.
Fair. I said this is like one of the festival bangers.
Mm,
Like they drop this at the festival and everyone's fucking going off.
yeah,
That's what I put. I really like it. It's like the distorted drums kind of stuff they use in the verses and stuff. I really enjoy this. This is like you said, the vocal performance. Just
mm,
if there was no vocal performance on this, it would be just bog
Very
standard.
standard.
Just
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, very standard. I agree, but I think what's her name? I don't even remember her name.
I
But
can't
her
remember
on
her
the
name.
track, yeah, it elevates it a lot
Mm,
to a point where it's actually for me a good song. Just like you definitely put this on in the gym.
yeah.
This comes on the playlist, you start pumping harder, you know? Oh, that sounded dodgy. Anyway, we'll move on.
Do you know
We'll
I
move
didn't
on.
clock that until like a few seconds after that? Took me a
Yeah,
while, you
I said it and I
know.
was like, Anyway, moving on. Second chance.
You've got a
Do you want to go
second
first,
chance,
Adam?
Dylan. Right.
Oh, thank you.
That's the second. That's the
Yeah.
first time I'm gonna make that pun. I wrote right.
Uh,
This album's
yeah.
got a second chance now. Bazinga.
Oh,
Right. This
stop.
song, this is my second favorite song on the album. Okay. And the reason for that is because this sounded different to what I'd heard before. And I was getting so bored of hearing the same drum beat, the same bass,
Yeah.
the same everything, even though some of those songs I did like. But yeah, this one, I really like the blend of like, there was like ethereal soft synths, but there was like a glitchy, like hard
Yeah.
sound as well, and that's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that I do like a lot because a lot of the like electronic music I listen to is very harsh sounding, and it's yeah,
Mm.
this one seemed to me a lot more experimental. This feels like something that they wanted to just
Yeah.
try and like sit down and make something a bit different, and to
Just
me
running
that
some
Agreed.
really
glitchy
worked.
space noises, like
Yeah, because
I
I've
agree.
listened to the same song like 8 times in a row, and now suddenly this is different. It's not like it's not the best song in the world, but in terms of
No,
this
but
album, I really enjoyed
mm.
it.
and it's actually like a decent length as well.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that helps. Yeah,
I agree. I agree with what you said. It's very different. I wrote that it gives me aquarium slash underwater echoey watery vibes.
yeah, I kind of know what you mean.
Yeah, it's just like the water droplet kind of. It's like they sampled rain
Right,
almost. But no, I said it was fine, it was good, but I think I like the more like
generic shit.
stuff that I like
With a
the more
vocalist.
Yeah,
generic disclosure, you know. But no, it was fine, it was good. I can't really say much else about it. There was nothing that really grabbed me too much apart from the fact that I thought I was in London Aquarium.
Yeah, again, I just because a lot of what we've had so far is there's been a lot of guest vocalists and things like that, and it was nice just to have a little step back for a second and just a bit of music.
Mm,
Um, Overall, I'm not going to say this track was outstanding. It did actually have some cool, I'd say, Adam said, glitchy noises in there.
yeah.
Um, but at least it had like a decent
mm,
runtime. I didn't feel overwhelmed by it, so that was one
yeah.
positive for me. So
I think this might
yeah,
have been the
probably.
shortest song in the album, apart from the
Yeah.
intro. That might be why we're we're gassing it so much. But right, you could say, Brad, it's a bit of a
Mm,
palate cleanser.
a little bit.
We're not doing this. Move on.
Mm.
And
Grab her! Exclamation mark. Okay, I want to start off here.
Yeah,
I said this is very similar to Stimulation,
yeah.
but in a bad way. I said it's so
Mm.
repetitive and it's just the layers just don't feel like they're adding anything. It's so flat. It's just the song. If it would just be going kind of like that, steady across.
If it was a heart rate monitor, you'd be dead. You'd
Yeah,
be
amen.
flatlining.
Literally, literally, it was nothing. There was nothing there for me. Like this
Yeah,
is my least favorite song on the album. I think purely because there was just nothing for me.
I 100% agree with Dylan. This is the worst song on the album.
Yeah,
This song I really, really wanted to skip. Like when
so
I
did
listened
I.
to it the first time and I was cycling, like I probably just didn't even notice it because I was just concentrating on other stuff. When I was sitting down and actually writing notes on this, I was just like, I'm so fucking bored. This was
I hear
so
that.
boring. And it was just like weird. It kind of it sounded like they were going for like a basement jacks sound. So it's meant to be a bit off
Hmm.
kill. You know, like where's your head at? Like they were
Yeah,
going for
yeah,
that
yeah,
weirdo kind of electro sound. But it was just shit.
yeah.
It was
But
just
it
the
just didn't work.
same thing over and over again.
Shit is good. Yeah,
Literally. It was just
yeah.
yeah, it was the quintessential repetitive dance song and it was genuinely hard to sit through.
it's that
Yeah.
two-step in a club. Let's not bother making too much noise, but let's also just
Yeah,
throw some
yeah,
tunes
yeah.
in there.
This wouldn't be in a club though. I swear they wouldn't even play this in their live set. Like this is just nothing.
Yeah, just
I
again,
feel that.
it's too long. Yeah,
Yeah.
do you know, I've got no issues with like obviously electro music being long. Just as
Mm.
our examples that Adam keeps bringing up with Prodigy.
Yeah.
Prodigy have got 8-9 minute songs,
Yeah.
but they're fucking bangers,
They
right?
change.
The
Stuff
Yeah.
difference here is
happens.
that the shit is just so like 4/4. It's so boring.
Yeah.
It's so repetitive. It's nothing outstanding here. There's nothing that makes me
Yeah.
go, oh, hey, do you know what? This track just switched up on me because it doesn't switch up at all.
No.
So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. And again, as well, house music for me, again, it's just the reason that I don't delve too much into house music is that it's even with the drops in
Mm.
quotation marks, the drops in quotation
Yeah.
marks, they're not really drops.
Nah.
They're sort of just
They're
they're
not.
slight phases into a different musical
Yeah.
passage. It's nothing that gets you
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. It's not like dubstep now though.
I mean, I
Um.
wait. Let's not argue about this too much. But dubstep did have some
It
good
had the drops, to
moments.
be fair. It had the drops.
It
Listen.
had the
Listen.
drops.
Don't talk to me about dubstep. I used to play Xbox 360 while listening to
And
Skrillex.
next week,
Okay.
guys, we're going to talk
Um.
about Borgor. Does anyone remember?
Bang
No,
around,
I don't.
Right, move
Oh,
on.
right. You and me.
You and me
Um.
always love
No,
forever.
we're not
Oh
doing that.
wait,
No.
sorry, did I
Right.
No.
listen?
No.
First
No.
I
thing
No.
I'm
listened
No.
to the wrong song.
first thing I'm
Wrong.
coming in with.
Oh no.
First thing I'm coming in with, right, is that I like this
Yeah.
song, right? My
Yeah.
issue
Yeah.
is that the what's his fucking name? Oh, damn, I forgot his name now.
Jason
Who's the
Derulo.
guy that remixed this song? No, not Jason Derulo. Shut your mouth.
Flume
Flume remix, right,
is
Yeah.
is
unbelievable
190 times better, right?
I know, Flume's
Um,
by
sick.
far.
right. And even listening back to this track, I wasn't hearing this track anymore. I was hearing Flume's ridiculously better remix.
Mm.
Yeah.
But even so, I don't hate this track. I mean, like I quite like the vocals on it. Um,
Yeah.
but again, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I'm trying to remember this song, and all I'm hearing is Flume's remix. So
Fair enough.
Yeah.
for
That's
me,
fair.
the Flume song was banging.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I agree with that. The Flume version, I was gonna bring it up. The Flume version of this song is like leaps and
Mm.
bounds better. But
right,
I
but
still like this song.
I mean, I don't want to start digesting the Flume song, but yeah, carry on.
Yeah. But no, this for me, this is like one of those songs where again you just can't help but like just like nod your head to it. You know, it's one of the more. I'm not gonna say intricate because there's not much
Yeah.
intricacies on this album, but it's one of the songs that has a bit more to it. You know, there's a little bit more like there's stuff that goes on which kind of works. You know,
Mm.
I say it's one of the better songs on the album. Yeah, Adam, I
Uh,
don't think you agree.
I'll make this short because this is just 5 out of 10, straight down the middle. I didn't hear anything different. I feel like I've heard this song 100 times before. I
Okay,
feel like I've heard all of the sounds from this song on different songs on the album. It's like they just kind of plugged in again and they were like, I will take this bass line from this one, blah, blah. Again, it just felt really
fair.
generic and just like standard. And at this point in the album, I'm getting like really jaded. I'm like, we're 11 songs in
Yeah,
and I'm just hearing the same sounds over and over again. I'm just waiting for something, anything to change, you know?
Yeah, but have you heard the
yeah,
Flume
yeah.
remix though?
No, but I'll check that out because I like Flume. Flume, I think, is
Right
a lot
after
better.
this, listen to it.
Ah,
Bangs. Cool. Moving on to January.
mm.
Anyone want to take
Yeah,
this one
yeah, I'll
away?
go. I'll go. Following on from the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
one,
yeah,
I'm so bored now. 6 minutes
Yep,
long.
yeah.
Why?
yep.
Just why? This song could have been 2 minutes long and you would have had the exact same
Mm,
experience. It sounds
yeah.
exactly like Latch and White Noise combined. Like literally, it's like I swear I could hear the same song
Hmm.
in there that they just like fucking oh yeah we'll
I
just
didn't pick
sample
up
our
on
own
that.
songs, like no one will notice because no one's listening to the rest of this album. It's like what the fuck. The vocals just were just fine again, they're just there. it's just I've heard it before. It's just the same drums, same synth, same everything. And at
Yeah,
this point in the
I
album, I
feel
was
like
just
this
like, it's
point.
shit. It just keeps going for no reason.
Yeah,
I feel by this point, the
yeah,
songs that they've had with all the vocalists sort of just fit the same sort
Yeah.
of formula, and they keep pumping out the same kind of
Mm.
track. With they put a few extra like synths in there, or they'll change the synths up a little bit, but majority of the time the drum track isn't all that different.
Yeah.
Sound like sonically.
Definitely.
Um, there's like I say the synths. You've pretty much got that like say that synthy xylophone as you called it
Yeah.
earlier. That's usually always in
yeah.
there. But I mean, there's nothing they've added. There's nothing they've
No.
subtracted. There's nothing they've mixed in to make it different. And with the vocal performance, it was just this fell a bit flat to me.
Mm.
Like it just I feel what you mean more to about the latch less than the white noise, but more about the latch performance.
Yeah.
But I think that's more because it's
Fair.
like a male vocal lead. Yeah, to me,
Yeah.
it just fell flat, and it didn't need to be 6 minutes long.
No,
Like
not at all.
I get dance music's usually longer, but I mean, I feel like you can make 4 minute songs right
Yeah.
in dance music, and that's sort of like a good ranging time. 6 minutes is too
Yeah.
long.
So yeah, I'm gonna keep this very short and sweet. I essentially wrote 3 words. I said boring,
Yeah.
lazy, and flat.
You just hit a nail on the head there.
Honestly, there's not again like the other song I was talking about. There's
Mm.
nothing here. It's empty. It's just an empty shell of
Yeah.
drum. That's all it was.
It's like copy and paste. Like, oh, we've got latch. Let's
Yeah,
just copy and paste it, but change it a bit. Like, oh, bro, can I borrow your song? It's like, yeah, just change it a little.
yeah, yeah. Change it up a little
Yeah.
bit. Say no more. Right. Yeah. Shit. Boring. Next song. Confess to me. I'll
Oh,
go first on this. I said now Brad might be able to Brad might agree to me with me. I said that this song would go off in a club with strobe lights while off your face on Mango and Apple VKs. That's
that's
what I
very
said.
specific.
But also, it's not a good song.
Okay. I see. I
Yeah,
disagree. I actually really like this song. This song woke me
I
up a bit. So I was like, after the last two songs, I was like, if these last two songs are bad, I'm just gonna fucking put the album down and just pretend. I'll just write generic boring, and then I could just pretend that was my notes. But no, this song I actually really liked. I thought the wobbly, stanky bass was really good in this song. Like, basically,
the wobbly
yeah, like
stanky bass.
Where
basically,
have I heard that before? It sounds like you've already said that 4 times
no,
in this
but
album review.
right, basically, if the whole album
I
was
agree
just
with you
that
here.
bass, then I would have enjoyed it. It was just banging,
Yeah,
right? It was straight up flames, just that specific sound. And even if the rest of the song wasn't that great, although I did like the vocal performance as well on this one, that bass, I could not ignore it. I was just like, that actually slaps hard.
I said that pretty much. I said I really like that main bass line thingy.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I couldn't describe it, but yeah, that's what I said. And also, there was some. It almost sounded as if there was like distorted steel
Yeah.
pans. Did
Yeah,
anyone get
nah.
that? Like dulled down steel
Yeah.
pans. It was fine, but I like the other like the anthem songs, like the singles. I like them a lot more than
Mm.
this song. But I mean, I could see myself throwing up some gun fingers in I don't know
Right.
in a club maybe.
I'd like to
Yeah,
see that. That'd be fucking hilarious.
you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Yeah. For me, I don't hate this song. Again, it just feels like by this point, I feel like I'm just trying to get through the album.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I didn't hate the vocal performance. The track was okay. Like I say, there was a few odd, more interesting sounds in this one than the last few
Yeah.
tracks. Um,
Mm,
but overall, it was nothing outstanding to me.
Yeah.
that's fair.
But like I say, I think there's partly because it had a shorter runtime. And I feel like that's all you need in some of these songs, right? Even though they're like a little bit dull, they're a little bit housey.
Mm.
They've got 6 minute runtimes, right? Cut it down by 2 minutes, and it makes a world of a
Literally.
difference. Because I'm not sitting there
It
for another
does.
2 minutes going boom chicka boom,
Yeah.
boom chicka boom, boom chicka
Yeah.
boom, boom chicka boom, boom chicka boom.
Wow,
What the fuck?
that sounds like all of the songs.
Did you just start playing the album?
Fair enough. Okay. Last song.
Final
We're finally
song.
there. 27
All
songs
right,
later.
I'm gonna throw it in. Right, is
Right.
that this
Please.
song was actually a nice break for me, right?
Yeah.
Because we've had a whole album of
Yeah.
them trying to like make these dance tracks and go mental, right?
Mm.
And I like London Grammar, so for me, I'm gonna be not biased, but I mean I'm gonna say because I've always enjoyed her voice.
Favorite.
But
Yeah.
this felt like it was a bit more spacious,
Mm.
if that makes sense in a
Yeah.
music term. It was like
Yeah.
singing in an open corridor.
Yeah.
And to me, like
Yeah.
that, the one thing I read about this album when the reviews were popping up was that the people didn't like this track because it didn't follow the same structure of the album.
Fuck off.
Whereas I like this song because it's different from the lot of
Yeah.
shit that we've listened
What
to
the
in this
fuck's
album,
wrong with these
right?
people?
Yeah.
Like,
So,
it's not just the same beat over and over again. Get out of
Yeah.
here.
for me, it was a nice distraction. It took me away a
Yeah.
little bit, and like the vocal performance was beautiful. And like I say, just the spacey feel of it. Like it's
Brad.
atmospheric. It's like you're in a big open room and someone's playing a couple of like synths, and you hear it reverberating around, and that's what I like
Yeah,
about
bro.
it.
You've
Yeah.
absolutely
I
smashed that,
think
Brad.
we've all
I
got the
literally
same
said
notes.
this. Yeah,
Hmm.
I said this song is a
Yeah.
vibe.
Hmm.
You're vibing to it. Like, again, I've said this hundreds of times, but I'll say it again. Like, you got a barbecue, the boys are in, you're chilling there, the meat's cooking on the
Yeah.
grill. This song comes on shuffle. You're
You've
chilling,
literally
you
never
know?
said that, but yeah, carry on.
Oh, I feel like I've said it 100 times. Well, yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
feels
yeah,
like. It's just, like you said, airy. It just feels like big,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I pretty much agree with everything you two have said. I just had this was a new drum pattern. I was like, as soon as it came in, I was like,
Hmm.
fuck
Yeah?
yes, we finally did it, boys. Only
Whoa.
72 songs in. Yeah, the vocals were really nice actually. Like I'm not that familiar with London
Hmm.
Grammar,
Yeah,
but they were like really chilled out.
London, yeah,
yeah.
London Grammar. It's very. Their music's very spaced out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
So,
said like
Okay.
soothing. It was quite
Interesting.
soothing, and there was like whispers going on as well. It felt like I was listening to some Enya
hmm.
shit. You know, I was like in the fucking woods listening to Enya.
Fair.
But
Fair
yeah,
enough.
as you said, it's like very floaty, bit 80s sounding as well. Like it was a
Yeah.
vibe. It was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
good end to the album as well because it was like
It
you said
was.
it, Brad. Refreshing. It was like finally something
Hmm.
different.
Mm,
And if you didn't like this
yeah.
song because it was different, then you're just a fucking idiot. So sorry.
It's fair. It's fair. Right. That was the album settle.
Right. Final thoughts.
Um, Adam, you go first. Go on.
Right. So in summary, I feel like it's very easy to sum this album up. So songs work in isolation when they're just listened to on their own, but as an album
They
package,
do.
it is too similar. All of the songs sound very similar. It's that same sound.
Yeah.
Is very, very repetitive, kind of by design. Like a lot of house music is repetitive, but this was like
Yeah.
extreme. Some of the songs are like straight
I
skips.
will throw in quickly that
Yeah.
this is actually, in my opinion, better than most house music
Yeah, yeah, it
because
is.
a lot of
Yeah.
house music goes way
Yeah.
beyond this in
Oh
terms of
yeah, yeah,
repetitive. So,
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
but again, for me, still, there's like a lot of songs that I was really struggling to sit through. This was a bit of a
Mm,
slog to review, to be honest, because it's a very long
yeah.
album, and it's like a lot of those songs are just like nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like if you just condense the album down to like 10 songs, like 3 to 4 minutes worth of music in there, good quality music, because a lot of it is very good and they have kind of found their lane, like their sound. As you said, like if you're
Yeah.
listening to a Disclosure
Very
song,
distinct.
you know it's a Disclosure song. But I feel like they just
Yeah.
kind of ruined it by just keeping things going on too long and just making it way too long. So yeah, there's
Yeah.
some really good highlights. White Noise, Confess to Me, Second Chance, Help Me Lose My Mind. They're like songs you take away, put in your own playlist, and then in those settings
Yeah.
they really, really work. But as an album, it's just got too many skips and too repetitive for me. So I think I'll
Yeah.
go for a 4 out of 10.
Oof.
Maybe a bit
Fair
harsh,
enough.
but if I'm struggling to
It's
sit
fair.
through
It's
an
justified.
album, then and
Yeah.
also like the set in an album you listen to, like if there's only one setting that I can listen to it, then it's not going to be an album I'm going to play often. So
That's fair. Brad, do you want to go next or do you want to go last?
yeah, no, for me, it's just again, it just follows a lot of the same suits throughout. And although Disclosure have picked their own sound here, it feels like they've tried to repeat the sound too much on too many of the same tracks. Again, like I say, you've got some big tunes in there. The issue is, as Adam was saying, they work in a single setting. They don't work as an album. And this, as an album,
Yeah.
for me, just falls flat. I say because you take the singles out, and a lot of the singles are actually quite good.
Yeah.
But when I listened to it as an album, and I was following the tracks through and through and through. There's no connection. There's no link between these songs. There's nothing that really defines it as an album. So the only thing I will say is obviously again I'm talking about album endings, but the end of the album was just like a nice reprieve for me because we've had all of this I don't know what to call it. It's blocked in throughout the entire album. So yeah, for me, I think when Adam said 4, 4's pretty spot on.
Fair.
If we was rating this as singles, it'd probably be higher.
Yeah.
Oh God,
So-
you just took the words out of my mouth. If I was to listen to these songs, but scattered through like a playlist, I'd rate this album so high because some of the singles are just fucking, for me, just huge songs, which I've listened to for years. Sitting down and listening to this album was not as fun as I hoped it would be. I thought it was going to be just like, yeah, listen to all these bangers, it's going to be good, but there's so much in there that's just noise, you know, almost just white noise, literally. It was thank you. No, I was expecting to give this a high rating because, again, I am a big Disclosure fanboy. But no, I'm gonna give this a 6.5 purely because the songs that I like on this are like some of like most of them are in my like top 100 songs I've listened to. So for me, as an album, it's a 6.5, but some of the songs on this album are just unbelievably good.
That's fair enough. To be fair, I feel like we've come to some sort of agreement anyway. You know.
Yeah. I totally understand what you guys are talking about though, because some of these songs are just long and just
it just
pointless.
doesn't really work as an album.
Yeah, as an album, yeah. If they were just like, right, here's 10 songs, slap them on your playlist.
Yeah.
No, do you know what? Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Is that if you did the Drake method and called it a playlist, I think it works better.
Yeah.
But then also, they decided to add 4 more songs for the deluxe, and then they decided to add fucking 25 songs for the special edition. Who's asking for this music? Honestly,
I'm pretty sure, like say, the biggest version of the album has like 37 tracks.
It's like 4 hours long. I can't think of anything worse.
That's insane.
Honestly. Right.
My God.
So that is our album done this week. So now we just need a question. So I've got a question for you guys, which it's not a very serious question, but right.
That's fine.
I want to know.
How big is your burger?
No. I want to know who is the hottest cartoon character, right?
I'm not answering this fucking
question.
I've got a few suggestions for you if you want.
The hottest, as in, I'm gonna taste you and you're spicy, or as in, damn that thing thick.
She thick, bro.
Like,
but or like a weird childhood crush you had on a cartoon character, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, nah.
I can't say I ever was. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Expand your mind, bro. Have a think, because I got a few suggestions, right? I got
yeah.
Straight off, Mrs. Incredible, number 1. Bay.
Say that again?
Mrs. Incredible, bro.
Oh,
right. She's elite.
Pixar mum.
Mate, she's thicker than a milkshake.
Oh wait, I've got it. I've got one.
Thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
Right. I'm just gonna come in with mine now. It's Kim Possible. All right.
Kim Possible. Yeah, that's fair.
There we go.
Shit.
Francine from American Dad. Anyone? She's all right. You
know. No.
I've got one that you'll agree with, Dylan, I'm sure, right? The pink-haired nurse in Pokemon.
Nurse Joy.
Yeah, Nurse Joy. Nurse Joy. Obviously in the anime, not in the game, because it's like
yeah.
Right, yeah, come on. She's
that pixel be shit.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's fair. I'm gonna throw a spanner in the works.
Right.
When I was younger, I didn't know what I want. I thought Danny Phantom was thick.
I don't know. Wait, Danny Phantom?
Danny Phantom?
What?
Yeah. I was a confused child.
Right.
Danny Phantom. You know Danny
This
Phantom.
explains a lot about
I?
Dylan now, you know.
Danny
Um,
Phantom. Come on, look him up.
I'm
Anyway,
about to.
and Kim Possible.
Right.
Yeah, that's Kim Possible's like
Yeah.
the one.
Also, I got a
100%.
couple of other outside shouts. Right, Leela,
Go
like
on.
Leela with a one eye. She's kind of thick as well.
Who?
Leela from
Future.
Futurama.
Oh
bro.
my days.
Layla.
Her
Yeah,
name's not Layla.
yeah.
Wait, did you just say fucking
I thought it's
Layla?
Layla.
What is Leela?
Oops.
Oh my god.
I'm
This guy's
sorry.
Wait,
cancelled.
Dylan,
Oh my God, he's gonna
Dylan? What's his
crucify
name
me.
you just pulled out again? Danny what?
Danny Phantom.
Phantom.
Brad's about to be shook. Right, and then also Marceline from Adventure Time for all you goth girl lovers
I've
out there.
not seen.
She's
No,
like a
I've not seen
vampire.
Adventure Time.
Right, she plays guitar.
Ah,
Sure, your kind of girl, Dylan. And
fair.
the final one
Nice.
might be Champions League tier, elite tier, right?
Champions
Yeah.
League.
Okay.
Bro.
No
This is
question
the
about
man
it.
Dylan based his fucking
His
uni
look on,
fucking
yeah.
look on.
Bro, he looks exactly like him. That's why. Wait, those
Literally.
crepes are fresh though. Danny Phantom be styling.
Honestly.
Right, and then we'll end on this final one because I'm sure you'll both agree. But number one, top tier, 100% no debate, Sandy Cheeks.
Right, so next week we are
Next week we're cancelled. We are not coming back. No, Sandy Cheeks. Sandy Cheeks has those.
Hey,
Yeah,
look,
he's
let's
got
be
that
honest,
buff,
Kim
you know what
Possible
I'm
is number
saying?
one.
Let's just say
Kim
Kim
Possible.
let's
Possible's up
just
there.
say I want to give her Sandy Cheeks.
Cancelled.
Uh,
We're absolutely
she
Right,
can
cancelled.
definitely
moving
handle those
on.
nuts.
Yeah.
Moving on. Right. I'd like to see her bikini bottom.
Stop. Stop.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
that's. Oh no.
Okay, so
Okay.
next week, Dylan, you are going to be recommended our
I've
film.
got the movie.
What would you like us to watch?
Right. So this movie's directed by Spike Lee,
Okay.
and it stars John David Washington. Never
Okay.
heard of him. Adam Driver and Topher Grace.
Okay.
It is Black Klansman,
Okay.
Okay.
and it's just hit Netflix. So I've wanted to watch it for like years.
Okay, right.
So
I've already
Yeah,
I've
it's
already
only
It's
seen
only been
it.
out 2 years, isn't it?
yeah, so years. I've been wanting to watch it for years.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's like because me and Adam saw this in cinema, didn't we? So
I've not seen it in the
Oh,
cinema.
oh,
What
okay.
do you mean?
what?
Were you thinking of Black Panther?
Nah, Black Klansman.
I've
Oh, maybe I didn't see what you.
no,
Oh no.
I've seen it on my own like a year ago, but I'll keep my
Okay,
thoughts
'cause
to myself until we watch
I
it
went to
again.
the cinema
Oh,
to watch that.
no.
I remember. So
All
It
right.
could be a bit controversial next week, but my
Okay.
my album recommendation is next week, and so far we've covered hip hop from my recommendations, right? We've covered
Yeah.
a bit of like electronic drum and bass with the old
Yeah.
Prodigy. One genre
Yeah.
that I haven't suggested yet, but was a big part of my childhood, was
Okay.
indie, right? So I was
Okay.
an indie Cindy
Okay.
Lego haircut, right?
Alright,
Oh,
come
no.
at me. Don't disappoint me
No.
with this.
I'm gonna suggest an album that I'm pretty sure neither of you have ever listened to. Okay, so I
Oh.
want to talk about album from 2008 from Late of the Pier called Fantasy Black Channel. Right.
Yeah. Don't know what that is.
So yeah,
Never
it's
heard.
something I used to listen to when I was growing up. I have not listened to in years, but it's like one of them that I want to see. I want to see what we think of it. So next week could be an interesting one.
Yeah, next week's going to be interesting because I've heard nothing of Black Klansman. I just know it's got Adam Driver in it, and I want to watch it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
cheers, guys. So hopefully we don't get cancelled from that Sandy Cheeks comment, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we are 100% cancelled. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.